Welcome back to Full Cup Astrology. March is such an exciting month, and I'm really looking forward to getting into the details with you in this video. I'm going to focus more on the first half of March, and you'll see a second one come out for the second half. I'm also going to break it down for all 12 signs. So first I'm going to get into a general overview of what's happening, and then you can click below for your sign and see what's happening more specifically in your life. So the very first thing, which is the most people's favorite influence of the year, is what we call the two benefics coming together. So Jupiter and Venus are connecting in the sky, and they are the two planets that bring us beauty, luck, romance. They bless our lives with things that we really enjoy in this world. And this day is sometimes referred to as the luckiest day of the year, the most romantic day of the year. So I hope that in some way the blessings that happen on this day for you are fun and beautiful, and something to really look forward to and think fondly of. So that happens on March 2nd, and a few days later we have a Virgo full moon on March 7th. And this is the really big part, is that Saturn has been in Aquarius for 3 years, and it is moving into Pisces right after this full moon in Virgo. And we are going to have a big shift into more Piscean energy focus. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what that's going to be like. So the big shift with Saturn moving from Aquarius into Pisces is going to focus more on restructuring our emotions, our intuition. Neptune has been in Pisces for quite some time and is going to continue on. And Neptune amplifies everything Piscean. So everything could be a little bit more elusive, dreamier, sometimes not as grounded in reality as what is actually functional and helpful. Pisces has rose-colored glasses on and likes to dream and create, but with that energy being amplified, that dream and creation is a little bit harder to manifest in reality. So I think Saturn moving into Pisces is going to bring us that grounded, functional energy to really manifest something dreamlike into reality. It could really ground and force us to restructure our emotional worlds, our intuitive worlds. So the way that we connect with that which is unseen is going to come up for more focus. With Saturn in its previous sign, Aquarius, for the past 3 years, we've been looking at restructuring our communication, how we express ourselves, how we express our unique selves. So with Saturn in Aquarius for the past 3 years and having this focus around learning how to express our unique individuality and knowing that somebody else can have a completely opposing, different opinion, and that's okay. We're learning how to navigate that through better expression and boundaries. Saturn creates boundaries. So somebody else can have a different perspective and make a different choice in life, and that doesn't necessarily have to affect us. We can create a mentally separate space from that, because Aquarius rules our mental world. With Saturn in Pisces, this is going to be more about our energetic space. So now that we understand how to coexist mentally with different perspectives, how do we do that energetically? How do you create boundaries with our emotions compared to another person? Are you picking up feelings and taxing energy from people around you? Does that mean just not hanging out with certain people? Or could Saturn in Pisces help us figure out how to create an energetic boundary for ourselves in the world? So I think that's one component. And I think that we're going to be using our intuition and using our ability to energetically sense things around us in a more practical way. So we're going to be bringing that into the focus, and yeah, Saturn makes that real and grounded. So what are the practical ways that we can use that sensitivity and make a safe space for ourselves while we do that? So I think that's really an exciting part of this shift in energy. It could bring more restructuring around medicine and substances and things that people use to check out. It could bring restructuring to art and the creative world. So that's definitely something to watch out for. So for everyone, there's going to be one part of our lives that is a little bit more in focus with this shift of Saturn into Pisces. So there's one part of our life that may have been less grounded in reality, more intangible, very creative and fun, and but a little bit elusive. And so in the breakdown for all 12 signs, I'll go through where specifically you're going to get a little bit more grounded energy in that creative part of your life. So the full moon in Virgo is exactly opposite in the wheel from what's happening with Saturn moving into Pisces. And this brings a more intensified energetic connection between what's happening. We also have 4 different planets in Pisces. So this full moon is illuminating a lot of energy on the opposite spectrum of the chart. So wherever this axis falls for you in the part of your life is where I think there's going to be a lot of illumination of detail that you didn't see before, and important detail moving forward. I think is going to give some insight into what Saturn is here to restructure and change for all of us. There are some intense energies from Mars and Uranus coming into the picture. So that means something quick and unexpected could be part of this story. That I think that's always a fun thing to look out for, especially just when it comes to change and shaking things up. And that's what this month is all about. So now for the 12 sign breakdown, really excited to see what March brings for all of us. And I'll see you in your sign. So for Aries, sun, moon, and rising, the luckiest, most beautiful romantic day of the year for you is happening in your first house. So what a great place to experience that. You're going to have blessings and just fun and beauty and expansion in with yourself. This could be your actual physical body or your psychology. You might be going through some really beautiful changes when it comes to your mental space and your body and how you move in this world. It could benefit many parts of your life with such a beautiful meeting of planets happening in your first house. So enjoy that. And with the Virgo full moon on March 7th, this is happening in your day-to-day activities. So you might have new work, new actual practical things that you're doing every day. It could be a health routine. It could be health in general. So look forward to a culmination of energy there. You might have been working towards something to do with work and health and changes in that way, and now it's really showing the efforts that you've put in, and things are coming to fruition. Saturn is moving into Pisces in your 12th house, so for you especially, this is going to be a lot about restructuring your psychic energy, a lot about restructuring how you connect to the unseen world, and it can involve secrets, so stuff just might be actually more hidden from you for the next 3 years. With Neptune in the 12th house and Saturn moving into that part of your chart now, moving into Pisces, it may be that there has been too much escapism in your life, and that is coming in for restructuring. So lots of different things that could that Saturn in the 12th house could bring. I'm very excited to see how that changes with Saturn leaving your 11th house, meaning that you may have had more tough lessons when it comes to friendships and your community at large, and you can say goodbye to that. So whatever lessons you have learned, things are going to be a little bit more gentle when it comes to your community and your allies and those that you connect with. So enjoy that, Aries. And for Taurus, Venus conjunct Jupiter on March 2nd, the most romantic, luckiest day of the year for you, happens in your 12th house. So for you, Taurus, you might not see what's happening. It might be behind the scenes. It could have to do with fun and escapism, and you might feel more intuitive at this time, more connected to unseen realms than you typically do, or you might experience some gifts from connecting with that which is unseen in a meditative or spiritual way. So I look forward to hearing about that. March 7th brings a full moon in Virgo for you in your 5th house, which is really a fun place to have a full moon. So this part of your chart is going to involve fun and children and hobbies and romance, and it can be true love as well. So something might come to fruition in your dating life and romantic world that has been going on for quite some time, and you finally get to see the benefits of that. Saturn is moving into your 11th house. And so for you, Taurus, you're going to experience more restructuring around your friends and community at large, and your allies and who you spend time with. This could also rule audience. So if you're somebody who has an audience, then that is going to be up for some changes. But it's going to be a welcome relief to have this Saturn energy in your 11th house compared to your 10th, where it has been. And that may have been restricting things to do with career and your visibility in the world. And that you can say goodbye to for a little while. So with Saturn in your 11th house with friends and networks, you can expect more solid friendships and longevity, more practical connections, and you may have been experiencing friendships and communities that were a bit more elusive and escapist and not as grounded in long-term solid connection as you might like. So you can look forward to those changes with your friendship, stuff that's solid and long-lasting and going the long haul. So I look forward to hearing how that plays out for you, Taurus. And for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising, the most romantic, luckiest day of the year for you is happening in your 11th house, and that rules friendship, audience, your larger community. So you can expect some blessings and good fortune and maybe some romance connected to that area of your life. The March 7th full moon is happening in your 4th house, and you've likely been going through changes either at home or in your internal world, so that part of yourself that you don't show. It could have to do with healing coming to fruition around family matters and generational trauma that has been passed down, and that might be something coming to light around that area of your life that you can now move through and heal from. Or it could be something very practical, like an actual new home that shows up for you. So that's a very exciting full moon to have. And Saturn is moving into your 10th house. So the focus is going to be on career and how you're seen in the world. You are likely to go through some restructuring with your public image and how you express and how you are seen. Saturn coming out of your 9th house for the past 3 years has taught you more about your spirituality, your higher perspective. You might have been going through actual higher learning or education, and now it's time to apply that in a more public, career-focused way. So I look forward to seeing how that manifests for you, Gemini. For Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising, the luckiest, most blessed romantic day of the year for you is happening in your 10th house of status and career and how you're seen in the world. So you might be getting a promotion, you could be getting married, something that changes your public image in a really positive and blessed way could be happening. So that's very exciting for all the Cancers out there. March 7th, full moon is in your 3rd house. So you might be making some changes, or some changes are coming to fruition around your neighborhood, your community. It could have to do with your mind, your practical mind, and the day-to-day mental activity that's going on, but it also has connections to your neighborhood, your neighbors, siblings. So there could be something coming to light in that part of your life. And the big shift of energy of Saturn moving into Pisces is happening for you in your 9th house. So you've had Saturn in the 8th house for the last 3 years, and that could, those combined energies could have definitely brought some challenges when it comes to loss, deep psychological healing. Saturn probably has been restructuring anything to do with other people's finances, your partner's finances. But in the 8th house, it's generally could be a bit of a tougher journey that you've been on. And with Saturn moving into the 9th, it's more likely to be focused around learning, higher perspective, your spirituality. So you might be going through some changes in your spiritual practice, more grounding and practical ways to express and connect with your spiritual practice. It could also cover higher learning in foreign places. So you might be actually going back to school for something, or actually traveling and relocating. And since this energy is happening in your 3rd house with Virgo, full moon, and 9th house on the other axis, this really could talk about relocation from your neighborhood to somewhere further away overseas. So that's just a small portion of you. For others, it's going to have a lot more to do with your mental space in a lower mind, more practical day-to-day functioning, and then your spiritual perspective and your higher mind coming in for some changes in the near future. So I look forward to seeing how that unfolds, Cancer. For Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising, the Venus and Jupiter conjunction, so the luckiest, most blessed day of the year, and potentially the most romantic, is happening for you in your 9th house. And this could cover blessings around your perspective, your spirituality, your spiritual practices. It could have to do with foreign people, foreign lands. So you might have a blessing show up from someone that is from a foreign place to you, or you could have a blessing where you're actually traveling to a foreign place, and that could be really exciting. But in a mental space, it could be a very blessed, heightened perspective in this with this type of energy coming into your 9th house. So it could definitely bring some romanticizing to your perspective on the world as well. So I look forward to hearing how that plays out, Leo. For the full moon on March 7th, this is happening in your second house, and that's exciting. You could have some unexpected and quick developments when it comes to your finances, your self-worth, how you treat your body as well. So the food and things that you take in, perhaps you've been going through some adjustments in that part of your life, whether it be wealth or other ways that we take care of our bodies, and that could be coming to fruition in a lovely, surprising way. Saturn is going to be moving into Pisces in your 8th house, and that has a lot to do with a partner's resources. So in a more restrictive way, it could mean that your partner's resources are limited for the next 3 years. It could mean that there's some restructuring happening in inheritances or other people's money. But for you, this is really a money focus that's coming up for the next 3 years. And this Virgo full moon is going to illuminate some of the topics that might be addressed as Saturn goes into the 8th to restructure finances, but of other people, but it could also be a focus on some deeper emotional wounds that you've been holding around. So the 8th rules are deep psychological wounds, as well as death and rebirth, and just powerful transformation. So it's moving on from your 7th house, though, which could have been putting more restriction and tough lessons around partnerships. So you can say goodbye to that for a little while. And now it's more, it could be other person's finances. It could also be lessons around intimacy and how you deeply connect with other people. So those are a few of the topics to look out for when it comes to your connection with others and self. And this is more in a values type of way, valuables, finances, and intimate connections. So I look forward to hearing about how those transformations go for you, Leo. For Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising, the luckiest, most blessed day of the year, and potentially the most romantic, is happening for you in your 8th house. So Venus conjoining Jupiter in this part of your chart could have to do with blessings coming from other people's resources. It could be inheritances, a big tax break that you weren't expecting. Could certainly be something financial, and it could also cover your deep, intimate bonds. So look forward to blessings in that part of your life. This March 7th full moon is your full moon, and this could cover many topics, but you're likely to come to a new fruition of something around yourself that you've been working on. You might start to see more detail about yourself and the journey that you've been on and the journey that you're going on. And Saturn that day moving into your 7th house of partnerships, I think that this full moon and the new journey of Saturn is going to have you focused a lot on self versus other, and what that means, how you balance your own energy when it comes to surrounding yourself with other people, and important lessons when it comes to that. Saturn is moving on from your 6th house, so you may have gone through some restructuring of your day-to-day life for the past 3 years. That could be work-related, it could be health-related. And with Saturn moving on March 7th, you can say goodbye to any difficulties that you've been facing while restructuring your health and work and day-to-day activities. So that's something to look forward to, Virgo. And let me know how that goes in the comments below. And Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising, this most luckiest day of the year and blessed romantic energy is happening for you in your 7th house. So that's very exciting, Libra. You could have a very romantic day with somebody that's very important and significant to you. And you could just be generally blessed in the area of your life of partnerships, which is a wonderful place to have Venus and Jupiter conjoin. So I look forward to hearing how that plays out for you. The March 7th full moon is happening in your 12th house. And so for you, this full moon, you might not see the illumination right away. It might be something that's hidden from you. It might be that something that has been hidden is going to come to light, and that could bring some positive, unexpected news and some really quick changes. Saturn is moving into Pisces in your 6th house, so you're going to be going through some restructuring of health routines, your day-to-day activities, and potentially the actual work that you do. You're going to be very happy to say goodbye to where Saturn has been for the last 3 years in your 5th house of fun and romance and play and true love and creativity. And having Saturn, the planet of tough lessons and restriction, in the area that rules fun and play and romance in your chart is not a really comfortable place to host Saturn. So Saturn is more natural in the 6th house where it's moving on to. It's more natural to have structure and discipline in this part of our lives. And so it's going to be much more comfortable to host Saturn there for the next 3 years. So look forward to that, Libra. Scorpio, sun, moon, or rising. The luckiest day of the year where Venus and Jupiter conjoin and bring blessings to your life is happening in your 6th house. So you might experience some blessings in the workplace, in your health, in your day-to-day life. I look forward to seeing what type of abundance comes to you in this part of your chart. The March 7th full moon in Virgo is happening in your 11th house, and you might have, this is going to bring fruition to a part of your life that rules community, your friends, your allies. So there's something is likely to come to light in the community that you exist in. Some parts of the community or your friends, it might be an ending. It might be time to move on from certain people or groups. So if that's happening for you, it's bringing you towards a community that is more in alignment with what you value and what's going to really support you moving forward. So though sometimes endings are uncomfortable, it's really progressing towards something that's going to bring you a lot of what you're looking for. And Saturn is moving into your 5th house. So you're going to be restructuring how you have fun and how you play and where your creativity lies and how it comes through. So this might put some restriction on some of those topics temporarily, but in the end, it's going to bring you into alignment with fun and play and pleasure in a way that supports you better than it has in the past. So it's definitely something to look forward to, and changing ways that we derive pleasure as we evolve, and things that support us better in that realm are always something to look forward to. So I'm interested to see how this plays out for you, Scorpio. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising. I'm very excited about Venus and Jupiter conjoining in your 5th house. This is what I think the best place to have such lucky, beneficial energy. It could really bring romance for you. It could bring an amplification of fun and pleasure and joy and beauty and creativity. And yeah, I hope you're really enjoying that this week, Sagittarius, and hopefully for weeks to come. This type of energy can trigger something that continues to unfold. So it's a really positive one for you, Sag. The March 7th full moon is in Virgo in your 10th house. So this is your public image, how you're seen in the world. Something could change with your status and something that's been building for a while and finally coming to fruition. There might be some changes in your career and public image. And yeah, this is definitely a time in general for you to be seen, as full moons bring more of that energy too. So you just might have a lot more attention on you at this time, Sagittarius, and Sagittarius get along with attention well, so you'll probably enjoy that. Saturn is moving into your 4th house, and you're likely to have some changes over the next 3 years when it comes to your home and living space, when it comes to your inner world, and when it comes to things that have been passed down to you through generations. So you might be doing some healing on generational trauma, and that will help restructure your inner world. And it may be that you are somehow more restricted at home or moving homes, and all of that could play out. For the past 3 years, Saturn has been in your 3rd house, and so you may have been more restricted in communication or local travel for some reason. There might have been some issues with siblings and close neighbors, and that's something that you are moving on from. So I look forward to hearing how that plays out, Sagittarius. And for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising, the luckiest day of the year for you is happening in your 4th house. So you might have some exciting news come to you about your living space. You might have a really beautiful living space come up. There may just be some gifts at home and blessings. So home might be a place where things are a little bit more romantic and just generally bringing blessings to your life. It can involve your inner world as well. So not just your structural home, but that which is inside of you could be going through some really blessed healing and good vibes all around. So I look forward to hearing about what's going on in your home life or internal life with these blessings, Capricorn. The March 7th full moon for you is in the 9th house, and this is something coming to fruition with higher learning perspective, your spiritual purpose and spiritual journey in this world. And Saturn is moving into your 3rd house. So you've been hosting Saturn in your 1st house and then 2nd house for the past 6 years, which is actually a more challenging place for Saturn. And in Vedic astrology, when it moves on to your 3rd house, it is here where you start to really reap the rewards of the personal changes you've been going through when it comes to restructuring yourself and restructuring how you take care of yourself. And now it's more about your communication. You might go through some lessons around how you communicate, and you're going to be more discerning around the words that you use, how you express yourself. It could mean that you have restrictions in local travel for some reason or another, and restructuring of community, maybe relationships with neighbors and siblings or close relatives as well. Look forward to hearing how that goes for you, Capricorn. For Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising, the luckiest, most blessed romantic day of the year for you is happening March 2nd in your 3rd house. And this might cover, you might go on a really fun short distance trip. You might get a new vehicle. You might have some healing with siblings, neighbors, close relatives, closer community. Some sort of blessings in this part of your life are destined to come in the beginning of March, so I look forward to hearing about that. And the March 7th full moon is happening in Virgo in your 8th house. So something might come to fruition with a partner's income or finances. You might have a big sudden healing or transformation that could take place. It could be also just things come into fruition in your deep, intimate connections. So how you connect with others or a partner in a more intimate way. And Saturn is moving into your second house. So Aquarius, you've been going through restrictions with Saturn for the past 3 years in yourself and who you are, your personality, your psychology, your body. So it's going to be a very welcome change to have Saturn in your second house. You could be restructuring your finances, your self-worth. You might be a little tighter with your finances while Saturn is in your second house, but it's going to be teaching you valuable lessons around how you manage your money. And so any restrictions that are put on your finances are going to be really benefiting you in the long term. Saturn looks for long term. So Saturn is all about what do we do in the now to plan for the future as well. So when it comes to your finances and how you take care of your body, those things could come up for some restructuring. Look forward to hearing how that plays out, Aquarius. And for Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising, the luckiest day of the year for you is happening in your second house of income, earnings, possessions, how you take care of your body as well. So you might have some blessings when it comes to money and abundance, and maybe just some amazing, delicious food. This is a good time to go out to a fancy restaurant and enjoy that type of entertainment. So I look forward to seeing what comes to you there, Pisces. The March 7th full moon in Virgo is happening in your 7th house. So this is a full moon in partnerships. You might have a partnership reach a new stage in commitment or development. Maybe a long-term partner comes into your life. And this could also represent marriage. So that might be time that your current partner you're taking things to the next level in that relationship. And it also could mean endings and completions. So if there's a partnership that has not been serving you to your highest potential, then that it's time for that to come to fruition and come to an end. So that could go lots of different ways for you, Pisces, and I look forward to hearing about that. Saturn in your first house is going to really change who you are. So for the next 3 years, you're going to be restructuring a lot about yourself. It could be your body in general. You could be more strict with how you, your discipline around your body and psychology. And in general, it's going to create changes that really benefit you in the long term. So any discipline that you develop over the next 3 years is really going to pay off when this transit is done. And that's it for Pisces. I look forward to hearing about how these changes play out. So thank you for listening to all 12 signs. I hope that these transits bring lots of positive change and blessings. If you've liked what I've had to say today, please like and subscribe to this channel so that you can get more updates when I put out new videos. And I look forward to seeing you in part 2, where we talk about some of the other big changes that are coming up for March. It's going to be a big month. Enjoy.